The Chicago Bulls have officially provided an update regarding guard Coby White's injury status ahead of their highly anticipated matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it has stirred both relief and anxiety among fans. White, who has been one of the Bulls' most consistent and dynamic players this season, sustained a lower body injury during the previous game, leaving the court in visible discomfort. With Chicago's season already hanging in delicate balance, the news of his condition has major implications for the team's short-term prospects and long-term momentum. Before we dive deeper into what this update means for the Bulls, make sure to like this content and subscribe to stay updated with every piece of breaking news, game analysis, and player update from around the NBA. According to the team's official statement, Coby White's injury has been categorized as a minor sprain rather than a severe setback, though his status remains day-to-day. The Bulls' medical staff emphasized that imaging revealed no structural damage, which is a massive relief considering how vital White has become to the team's offensive rhythm. However, given the physical intensity of the NBA schedule, there's growing debate among fans and analysts about whether Chicago should take the cautious route and rest him for several games or risk reintegrating him too quickly to keep their playoff hopes alive. This situation encapsulates the fragile balance that every franchise must manage, protecting its players while also competing at the highest level. Coby White's emergence has been one of the few bright spots for the Bulls in what has otherwise been a turbulent season. Since taking on an expanded role as a primary ball handler and offensive initiator, he's displayed improved court vision, defensive awareness, and scoring versatility. His ability to push the pace, create his own shot, and distribute effectively has added a layer of dynamism that Chicago's offense desperately needed. Losing that production, even temporarily, forces the Bulls to rely on less experienced guards or inconsistent scoring from secondary options. It's not just about one player's stats, it's about chemistry, spacing, and confidence on the court. The timing of the injury couldn't be more critical. With the Eastern Conference standings tightly packed, every win matters. The Bulls are in a battle for playoff positioning, trying to avoid falling into the dreaded play-in territory once again. Their upcoming matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers represents a significant test, not only because of Cleveland's defensive prowess, but also because of the psychological momentum the Bulls need to maintain after a rocky stretch. White's presence or absence could very well determine the game's outcome. Head coach Billy Donovan addressed the media, highlighting that while White's competitive drive makes him eager to return, the organization will prioritize long-term health over a short-term gain. "Coby is a tough kid. He wants to be out there, but we have to be smart about it," Donovan said. This statement underscores the Bulls' broader dilemma. They cannot afford another major injury, yet they can't risk losing ground in an increasingly competitive conference. Over the past few months, the Bulls' medical staff has faced increased scrutiny for the way the team manages injuries. Fans still remember how lingering injuries to Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine derailed previous seasons. That history makes every new update feel like a potential turning point. Many supporters have called on the organization to improve its conditioning programs and load management strategies to prevent recurring issues that have plagued Chicago's roster depth in recent years. Coby White's development has been one of the best stories in the NBA this season. Once viewed primarily as a streaky scorer off the bench, he has evolved into a dependable playmaker and one of the team's vocal leaders. His work ethic has not gone unnoticed, with teammates praising his maturity and resilience. The injury update, though cautiously optimistic, is a reminder of how fragile progress can be in a league that demands both physical and mental endurance. If White does miss time, the question becomes, who steps up? The likely candidates include Ayo Dosunmu, whose defensive tenacity could provide stability in the backcourt, and Jevon Carter, who brings valuable shooting and veteran composure. Both will need to elevate their performances to compensate for White's absence, especially when facing elite guards like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. The Bulls' offensive system will need tweaking to ensure ball movement and tempo don't stagnate without White's influence. For the front office, this situation also serves as a stark reminder of how precarious the team's construction has become. Chicago's success has hinged heavily on a few core players, DeRozan, LaVine, and White, leaving them vulnerable whenever one of those pieces is unavailable. Depth has been a recurring issue, and with the trade deadline looming in the coming months, fans and analysts are already speculating whether the Bulls should seek reinforcements to avoid another disappointing season. From a fan perspective, the emotional weight of yet another injury storyline is palpable. Bulls Nation has been patient, but frustration grows each time potential progress is halted by health concerns. Social media reaction to the announcement was immediate and divided. Some praised the team for being transparent and cautious, while others expressed skepticism, fearing that the term day-to-day could evolve into something more severe, a pattern the Bulls have seen too many times before. Still, optimism persists. If White's injury truly is minor and he returns soon, it could serve as a rallying point for the locker room. His teammates could respond with heightened energy and accountability, using the adversity as fuel. These are the moments that often define the character of a team, how they adapt, how they fight, and how they unite when a key piece is missing. For now, the Bulls are preparing as if White will be unavailable against the Cavaliers, but there's hope he won't miss much more time. The official injury report lists him as questionable, leaving room for a last-minute return if his body responds well to treatment. Regardless of his availability, the Bulls must execute with discipline and urgency. Every possession will count against a tough Cleveland defense, and maintaining composure will be critical. Looking ahead, Chicago's schedule doesn't get any easier. Its upcoming games against top-tier opponents like the Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks, and Miami Heat will demand maximum effort and focus. Having Coby White back healthy will be essential if the Bulls hope to stay in the playoff picture and silence critics who have questioned the team's resilience. This injury update, while relatively positive, underscores a larger narrative. The Chicago Bulls cannot afford to waste opportunities or mishandle key players' health. The organization has been walking a fine line between rebuilding and contending, and moments like this define which direction the franchise will ultimately take. As fans await further updates, one thing remains clear. Coby White has earned the trust and admiration of the Bulls faithful through his dedication and growth. Whether he suits up against Cleveland or not, his influence will be felt on and off the court. Chicago must now rise to the occasion, proving that their aspirations extend beyond surviving adversity. They intend to thrive through it. If you want to stay informed about the latest Chicago Bulls updates, player injuries, and NBA news, make sure to like this content and subscribe for more analysis, interviews, and behind-the-scenes coverage that brings you closer to the action.